everyone. So just to introduce our speakers in order. Um, our first speaker is Jerry Tan. So Jerry Tan is a Filipino multimedia artist with 30 years of artistic practice in painting, video, found objects, artists' books, room-sized installation, and sound art. He tends to work with multiple concepts simultaneously and use unorthodox various materials depending on concepts that come to mind. He majored in painting during his BFA and MFA at the University of the Philippines and at the State University of New York, respectively. His work deals with issues of representation and conceptual plays while challenging established ideals of originality and individuality. Our second speaker is Kaloy Olavides. Kaloy is a fine arts graduate from the University of the Philippines, exploring themes of absurdity, irony, anxiety, deception, and redirection. He practices with painting, collage, performance, and sound and video installation. He currently teaches drawing, painting, materials, art appreciation, and theory at the De La Salle College of St. Benilde, where he is coming from right now. Third, we have Martha Atienza. So Martha Atienza is a Dutch-Filipino video artist based in Bantayan Island, Philippines. In her practice, she explores the medium's potential to document and examine environmental, communal, and developmental concerns, as well as intricate interplay between local traditions, human subjectivity, and the natural world. And last but not least, Mark Salvatus. So Mark is a multimedia artist based in Quezon City. He graduated cum laude at the University of Santo Tomas College of Fine Arts and Design. His artistic practice deals with the sensibility of materials, found objects, and the environment. He discerns the potential transformation of usual materials and invigorates us to confront the struggle, question ourselves, and be critical and humorous. And of course, our moderator, Clarissa Chikiamco. So Lisa Chikiamco is a curator with research interests in the moving image and post-war of Southeast Asia. She was the acquisition curator of video art for the Ateneo Art Gallery. At the National Gallery Singapore, she has co-curated exhibitions such as Between Declarations and Dreams, Art of Southeast Asia since the 19th century, Between Worlds, Radin Sale and Juan Luna, A Fact Has No Appearance, Art Beyond the Object, and collaborated on the Singapore edition of Namjoon Paik, The Future Is Now. She is currently a PhD candidate in film studies at King's College, London. So now I will give the floor to Lisa.
Thank you for the introduction. Can you hear me? Closer, okay. Yeah, so first I would like to thank Boots, Director of Ateneo Art Gallery, also my former teacher here at Ateneo for inviting me to moderate this artist talk. It's really nice to revisit these moving image works from a time acquiring these works 12 years ago. So actually that's some time ago na pala. It was actually one of my last art projects in the Philippines, which I finished just as I assumed a curatorial post at National Gallery Singapore. So some time has elapsed since then, and my research has also evolved. And I think it's quite timely to revisit as I'm entering my sixth year doing my PhD on on the moving image in Philippine art from the 1960s to the early 2000s. So in relation to that, I've also very recently been pondering on the impact of digital video from the early moving image works of Philippine artists, which were initially on film and on analog video. So digital video has made the moving image ubiquitous, available not just on television, but on our mobile phones, tablets, digital billboards. So I think before we get to the artists, it's also helpful to contextualize this talk, especially for the younger generation some which I see present here, which have been mostly or only exposed to digital video. For my generation, so the older generation, we may already be familiar, but it's also good to refresh our memory because in this day and age, digital video has superseded film and analog video to become the dominant form of the moving image we are exposed to today. But it was quite different, actually not too long ago, I'd like to think. So initially, the dominant form of the moving image was photochemical film. And film is a series of images on a celluloid strip, which is projected in the same spot to create the illusion of motion to the eye, what is called the persistence of vision. There are film projectors to show films of different gauges, with 35 millimeter being the standard for commercial cinema. Film is not instant, but needs to be processed. It's not a medium for liveness or immediacy, but it produces a sharp and polished image, which is projected in a large scale before an audience in a darkened space. So I think the key thing to remember is large image, public viewing. In the Philippines, film arrived in the late 19th century in 1897. However, the birth of Philippine cinema is credited as being in 1919 when a Filipino, Jose Nepomuceno, directed the first Philippine film, Dalagang Bukid. Now for video, we have to remember that what predated video was television. And television, before the invention of analog video, previously relied on live programming for transmission. Germany began the world's first regular television service in 1935. The introduction of the video magnetic tape recorder by Ampex Corporation in 1956 revolutionized the professional television broadcasting industry by allowing them to record programs ahead of time. Even with its ability to record, video still shared the liveness of television. It is a medium of immediacy, with the ability to do live feed, instant playback, and in its beginnings, video was tethered to the television monitor. The only way to watch video before was through the TV. In its early years, televisions were greatly heterogeneous in size and design. It took up space in your living room and were heavy, large, bulky boxes with a screen. The TV was something you watched in your own domicile, in a private space, and did not produce images as sharp as film. So the key things to remember is small image, private viewing. Okay? This shaped the viewing experience of video for decades. The art critic David Antin wrote that television was video's frightful parent in how it shaped the viewing experience. Commercial television came to the Philippines in 1953. Video followed. I couldn't as yet find the exact date when it was being used by television stations in the Philippines. But if I had to guess, it's probably 1960s. But even though the quality of the video image was very different, as video's popularity grew and more people acquired videotape players, it was seen as a threat to the film industry, as people could just watch videos or films on video at home rather than going to the cinema. So to illustrate these points of distinction, where should I aim this? Here. So here's a chart from Mobile Fun magazine, Movement, from their Jan-March 1986 issue, outlining the differences between 8mm film, smaller gauge used than those used by commercial film and video. And then also here's another one from Movement magazine in the same year, which was to demonstrate the point of the author, Lilet Pelgone, that video has the potential to liberate the Philippine film industry through producing cheaper films and therefore provide producers with a more risk-taking attitude. Yes, you can see like from the film strip, becomes TV. So film and analog video have distinct histories, but what is common is it took time for it to democratize from industry use to be used for personal artistic expression. So when did Philippine artists start using the moving image for personal artistic expression, not tied to a commission from the film or television industry? As the Philippine film historian Nick de Ocampo has written, the cartoonist Larry Alcala created a short 8mm animated film in 1953 of a girl skipping rope and a boy playing yo-yo. In 1961, the artist and art critic Rod Paris Perez made the beautiful abstract animation Conversation in Space in 16mm film. You can see a still of it that's there. In the late 1960s, you have Virgilio Pandi Aviado, who created several experimental short films done in 8mm reversal film, and unfortunately all lost, shown here in Ateneo, where he studied and also taught. The first Philippine artist to create a video artwork is Johnny Manahan, known now for his work in entertainment, but he was also a conceptual artist. And he created his first video, now also unlocatable, in 1972. So what we have here is an image of his work from 1982, which we restaged for a recent exhibition that we had at National Gallery, Singapore. See Me See You, early video installation of Southeast Asia. But as you go, of course, into more recent times, into the 1990s and 2000s, the amount of moving image works and the number of Philippine artists engaging with the moving image rises. Digital camcorders for consumer use were introduced to the world in 1995, becoming available in the Philippines at least from the late 1990s. Digital video revolutionized not only the film industry and the art world, but everywhere we encounter the moving image today. As Professor Eloisa Hernandez outlined in her book, Digital Cinema in the Philippines, Philippine filmmakers were initially skeptical of digital video because the image produced by film was still superior. This was at least the prevalent attitude at the time John Red directed the first digital film in the Philippines, Still Lives, in 1999. Yet there was also excitement in the possibilities. In 2002, Kevin produced the first international digital film festival, .mov, in Greenbelt. Artists took part of this event through an exhibition on-off, curated by Poklong Anading, who's in the audience. Chrissy Illes, in her 2003 essay, Issues in the New Cinema Aesthetic in Video, says, in both form and content, video is now mimicking the qualities that had always pertained exclusively to film. So the quality of the video image improved so that it rivaled that of film, while keeping the qualities of immediacy which made it more convenient to work with. Then LCD projectors, which was released in the market in 1989, also helped to make video projection more popular, and it was more portable than the bulky and massive cathode ray tube projectors. As pointed out by Dr. Erica Balsam, a scholar who researches the intersection of film and art, video projection technology is partly responsible for the popularity of the moving image being used in contemporary art from the 1990s due to the ease of creating large moving images, which is much more polished than the small images on heavy and cumbersome television monitors. It was similar to film, yet more convenient than film projection. Today, we are in the age where, with digital video, the moving image is truly not confined to the television, even though the television today is high definition and no longer like the cumbersome cathode ray tube televisions from decades ago. Netflix, YouTube, social media like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the moving image is played on demand on our mobile phones, tablets, smart TVs. This is also unlike film in the cinema house. So One time, many years ago, one of my friends joked to me that the only thing that in the Philippines that starts on time is film in the cinema house. And I realized that she's right, right? When it's 6:30 on the dot. And actually, my experience of watching films abroad, when they say, for example, 6:30, actually, that's the time the previews are airing. And the film actually starts later. So actually, here parang in the Philippines, the only time it really starts on time, at least from my experience before, I have not watched in Manila in a long time. But I think it's the only thing that really starts on time, on the dot, is actually film in the cinema house. Or TV program broadcasting where it starts talaga at a particular time. So it's an increasingly competitive and tension landscape. Okay, so now we come to our artists for this exhibition, Transitions and Continuity. And they've come to reflect their thoughts on the transition of analog to digital. And I've also asked them to kind of prepare any anecdotes which, that are not necessarily art related to remember. Yeah, I mean, we're still young, but we're not that young naman. We can remember when it went from analog to digital. So for my own sharing, from what I can remember, and I was just, at home. I was still like a student. My dad was talking to my sister. She was a comm major. And then I distinctly remember him asking, do you see a difference in the digital films that's being projected now versus the photochemical ones? And I cannot even remember her answer. But I remember that question stuck with me because it's sort of, I don't know, what's happening? That just sort of made me think. So this was, I don't know, maybe 2 decades ago or something. But yeah, it somehow, stuck with me. And then little did I know, it was a whole revolution that really came from there. That changed also our viewing habits. Now it's so difficult to even find cinema houses which still show photochemical film. Halos wala. Singapore wala na. Yeah. So I thought we could start with Jerry.
Thanks for coming over. I'd like to present some previous works that I've done that's related to video and photography. This is one work that I've done in 2003. It's called Scanning the Mall. What I did here was to ask my colleagues, I think 5 or 6 of them, and handed them a camera, some cameras. These disposable cameras. And the instruction was for them to use up all the films. And when they've done shooting the empty space of the gallery, I went up to the photo shop and developed the film. And after an hour and a half, I went down and installed the photographs like this, as you can see on screen. What happened here was I did the show in one day, utilizing what's in the mall. And aside from this, I had surveillance camera attached to in one corner of the gallery that captured everything that was happening inside the empty gallery. So, yeah, that's the work. That's how I did the work. And finally, I had a TV monitor. As you can see there, it's at the bottom corner of the gallery, and it's showing the footage of what went on, the process of making the show, and the process of my colleagues taking pictures of the empty space. So this is a detail of scanning the mall. This is a work that I did a year before scanning the mall. That's in is in 2002. It's called mirror painting. What's happening here, what I did here was to paint using a video camera. I scooped paint from a palette and applied the paint in strips on panels of mirror so that the process of painting is recorded on video, and the process of painting is also reflected on the mirror while I was doing it. This is screening time. This was done much later. What I did was to, you know, when at night, if you're a nocturnal person, you watch TV till the TV stations, you know, closes. You know, you hear the national anthem, and then you're presented with a blank screen with snow, you know. So I was kind of attracted to that, and so that's when I started to work, you know, after hours. You know, when everybody's sleeping, I got busy taking pictures of snow, and I silk screened each of these images of snow, and I took pictures of these silk screen paintings, and I animated them. And since not any of them are the same, movement is created. So in other words, it goes back to video. You know? So I paired it with, as you can see here in the show, it's the silk screen paintings are paired with a video. You know.
Jerry, what year did you do this?
I was trying to get hold of the year. Sorry I forgot. This was in Finale. Finale in Makati. The big space. Yeah.
So within the last 5 years, you'd say?
Yeah, I remember this was the time when Roberto Chabet passed away. So 2013, because if I'm not mistaken, this was the last show that he saw. He went inside in a wheelchair, and he went around, and then that was the last time I saw him. And then shortly after, he was hospitalized and he passed. So that's 2013. So this is a bigger version of that. This is actually a painting. I'm actually also a painter, and what I did was to paint what I saw on screen. You know, so this is a version of, you know, the snow. You know, the snow comes in different forms. You know, sometimes you get these glitz. So I'm kind of attracted to that. You know, so. The title is Galaxy, and so I was painting what I'm seeing on screen, and you know, it's kind of interesting. You know, it's like painting from a photograph, but here I'm painting from a screen.
And how long would it take you to complete a painting like that?
It takes a bit of time, you know, and that's what's interesting, you know, because these things move, and you know, it's about you know, the rapid movements of the image. But when you paint it, it's slow, you know, it takes time, you know. But I'm interested in how the image become painting, and this is another version of malfunctioning screen. This is my work at the Venice Biennale 2 years ago. As you can see, I have TV monitors scattered along with cloths, and these TV monitors show the process of weaving of these textiles. This is another video work that I did. It's at the entrance of the tunnel of my installation at the Venice Biennale. It's called Speaking in Tongue. What I did here was to record a guy chanting a video, a guy chanting, and I asked Felicidad Prudente to collaborate with me by making notations of the sound of the chant. And I had a teleprompter of the notations that she did, and I painted the notations on clear glass while there was a camera recording my tongue painting the notations in squid ink. Now you might ask why squid ink. I use squid ink because it's kind of metaphor for how translation is, what happens in translation, particularly how translating connotes concealment and revelation. You know, it reveals something, but at the same time it conceals something. And to me, when you translate something, that's basically what's happening. You know, you don't really translate, or you don't really give the actual meaning. You know, something else happened. So it's that kind of metaphor I'm working on with the squid ink. Can we show the video? I have two short videos here of the Venice Biennale project.
Okay, while we're waiting for them to resolve the tech issue, Jerry, like you started creating video works from, actually, it's not even there, the late 1990s with your show at the finale in Mega Mall, right? Simplified videos.
Yes.
And that was like with analog video, and this one was just a few years ago. So I mean, you witnessed that, kind of transition from analog to digital, and you've been, consistently working with video for the past over 20 years. Mm-hmm. So would you say that, what are the differences to you with working with a digital video medium versus analog?
Actually,
or is it same, or?
I'm not very particular about the changes.
Okay.
Because
okay.
I'm not a technician.
Okay. So you always have someone to help you with the
yes,
technical
yes.
part.
I remember before, Poklong Anading helped me a lot. Yeah. Pinukulit ko yan. And then, right now, I have a videographer who helps me.
Okay.
And because I have a bad memory, I asked this guy to keep a record of all my videos
okay.
as much as he can. Yeah.
So you just give direction, like
yeah, but
the concept, the direction, and then someone else executes?
Yes, yes. Before I stored in these things in an external drive, but then I lost the external drive, so mas mabuti I just hired somebody and to keep my my video files.
So to you, is it important, like the quality of the video image? Is that something that's
Not really. I work with what's there.
okay?
Yeah, it's like I remember Andy Warhol saying that he likes the misprints because they look like the glitches on TV. So I'm not very particular about the quality, but it depends. If you need quality, then use it. I think I refer a lot to painting because I'm basically a painter.
Yeah, I mean, we can see that in mirror painting,
Yeah,
which is
that's right. Yeah.
upstairs, and that self-reflexive act of
Self-reflexive
painting.
and actually the subject matter is the process, and it's also the object of the work. And since the viewer is also reflected on the work, then the viewer also becomes the subject matter, becomes part of the subject matter of the work. So it's blurring the lines between object and subject.
Yeah, I was reviewing also our acquisition notes for mirror painting, and interestingly, I saw that we included there that our preference is still to use the Kaloy ray tube televisions rather than flat screens as much as possible. Would you still have that preference today?
Maybe, but with this box,
Yeah.
it's also sculptural.
Yes, exactly.
It's not just a flat screen there. It references sculpture, art
Yes.
history.
Yeah,
That's what I'm interested in.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say we'd still have the same notes in the acquisition today.
Yes.
di manok sokna.
I noticed with the TVs, they're they're boxed up. You had that direction.
Yes.
So
We had that fabricated.
so you wanted it to still have this
Yes.
parang sculptural look. Parang
Yes.
parang CRT in a way.
That's
But
right.
yeah,
That's
more.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
So these are actually flat screens, but we fabricated these boxes, metal boxes, to make them look like, these old TV sets.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting that you still like that kind of sculptural look, even though
Yes, it's because it's an installation. It's good to consider, these sculptural qualities, put them in the installation. Yeah. So it still references sculpture, painting, and all these things.
yeah, nag-shift lang the aspect ratio. So I think that's something that people can also use to kind of date video works. There was someone, I think I was interviewing for my thesis. Maybe it was Kokoy. Ano, basta we were talking about, I think, the date of one of your works. And you were telling me this date. I was like, hindi, 69 aspect ratio yan. It can't be that early. Yeah, and then parang you remembered nga the right date. It was later. So I think that's one way that you can see these kinds of trends, and how you can also kind of date video works. So it's also something to consider also for the older video works that have a different aspect ratio, 4:3. I mean, there have been instances in my past, my recent exhibition, I'm looking at early video in Southeast Asia. What one of the artists passed was already 16:9. So parang he re-edited, or he had someone in the transfer, naging 16:9. And he said, we have the CRT. So he had us change it back to 4:3. If not, you're gonna have black bars on either way. So it's something to consider when you're shifting from these different kinds of technologies. Okay, so now we can move on to Kaloy Olavides.
Hello.
Hello.
Lisa. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. So,
Would you like to, walk back down memory lane and talk about some of your early videos, which were still on analog video?
this one's our mini thesis in 1999 at UP College of Fine Arts. Paper on paper. What I did here was yung isang bundle of bond paper, sinusunog ko alternately. Yung isang bundle nasa tabi ko, tapos sunugin ko yung una, tapos pag nasunog na siya, gagamitin ko siyang pangsulat as paper. As you have seen on the picture. Tapos tatabi, another one, until such time na maubos yung isang rim. Naalala ko lang tong video na to, parang nalapnos yung mukha ko sa init dahil sa kakasunog, but I cannot move. Unfortunately, isa to sa mga pinagsisisihan ko kasi wala akong kopya.
Okay.
Yeah, so ito lang yung pinaka-kopya natin.
This is from Asia Art Archive, from Ringo's
Right.
documentation.
Oh yeah, credit to AAA
Yeah, and Ringo.
and Ringo. So ito na lang yung pinaka-documentation ng work na to. Oh, yes. So, West Gallery during the deliberation of the mini thesis, um, presenting my work paper on paper. Ginisa ako ng todo dito. This one is Here and Not Here in 2000. This is my thesis work. A work, it's comprised of 4 televisions, one in front of me, the back, and one on both sides. May kinalaman din siya sa endurance wherein the camera I used here was V8, which yung tape niya ay maximum recording time of 2 hours. So the first step or the first process, ni-record ko muna yung sarili ko. Tinubos ko yung tape without moving. Tapos, the following day, the presentation na ng thesis, I wore the same clothing, same everything. Pero yung naka-play yung pre-recorded sa harapan na TV. While yung 3 televisions sa left side, right side, back, ay live feedback. So, parang gusto kong i-tackle yung deception. Tapos gusto ko ding ipakita kung ano yung kakayahan ko tumayo without moving. Pero itong particular work nito, going back to the premise earlier, kung ano ba yung changes ng analog to digital, masasabi kong may pagbabago sa ngayon kasi ang isa sa mga basis ko kung bakit ko ginawa ito is I want to test myself. Kaya ko yung 2 hours na yan. Kaya kitang tayuan without moving. Pero ngayon digital na with the SD card, ano ba tawag dyan? Parang infinite na siya. So parang 3 hours, hindi pa siya tapos. 4 hours, hindi pa siya tapos. So naisip ko, hindi ko na siya kaya. So parang yun yung isa sa mga changes na nakita ko sa aspetong ito, sa work na ito. Everything else, okay, yun pa din naman siya. Kasi pwede pa din naman yung deception kahit 5 minutes mo lang 5 minutes lang tatayo eh. Pero yung para mabuo ko siya as part of my endurance process, I have to finish recording 2 hours tape nung analog. So yun yung changes na nakita ko.
So this one, how long was the recording? The one that you have upstairs?
Yun. Kasi may, isa yun sa mga part of the changes na nakita namin. We bought the CCTV cam, digital. Ang problema is may lag. Naglalag yung recording. So, parang naisip ko, dapat hindi ganun. It defeats the purpose. So, kumuha kami ng bago the following day. Yung mag-open na siya. So, nilipat namin sa isa sa mga ideas na pwedeng gawin sa kanya, which is to record a short period of time lang. Like 10 minutes lang namin ginawa this time. So, yun. Andun pa din siya.
And then it's parang on loop.
On loop.
Naka-loop.
Yes. Sorry, hindi masyadong naintindihan yung picture, ano. Kaya mo na. Yeah.
Ay, oo nga.
I think I was their teacher in one of the classes at the time.
Yes. Yes, sir.
What grade did you give Kaloy?
I gave him a high grade.
Thank you.
these were the kind of works I like. So what this was kind of work we were doing in UP before.
Yeah. Kasi thesis advisor namin, thesis advisor ko nito si Sir Chabet. So, yung pinresent ko tong idea sa kanya, yung nga, ubusin yung 2 hours na tape, videotape, or yung short period of time lang of recording. Kasi kung deception lang naman din. Gusto niya yung the latter, yung short period lang. Tapos naisip ko, gusto ko kasi explore yung physical strength. Tatayo without moving. So, pinilit ko na kung pwede ba sir, ito na lang. Pumayag naman siya. So, but then again, sobrang applicable yung suggestion niya sa tulad nga sa yung this specific performance sa taas. Yes. Oo. So, search a bit.
Natandaan ko dati yung ginawa mo, Kaloy, sa klase.
Yeah.
It was one of our projects. On the day of presentation, hindi ko siya nakita sa klase. And then there was this clothesline in the middle of the room. And there was nakasabit yung underwear niya. And then may small note, sabi niya, "Sir, I'm on my way to Mindanao." Taga Mindanao siya. Without my underwear.
Para siyang performance pa rin siya. Parang kasi kailangan mong i-present yung work on that particular date. Kaso hindi ako pwede kasi nakabook na ako going to Mindanao. So parang nag-isip na lang ako ng paraan para hindi ako ibagsak. So yung brief ko na medyo bacon pa. Yeah. Anyway. Itong here and not here, may mga ginawa akong variations nito. Could we move on to the next work?
This is the 2012 show
This is,
from the acquisition show.
Yes, old AAG, right? This one is a variation of here and not here. Pero kaibahan nito, yung front TV lang, wala na yung tatlo sa likuran at sa gilid ko. Same process, pre-recorded yung image. So, in case na hindi nyo nag-gets or nag-picture out, pre-recorded yung image ko nakatayo. So, pag dumadaan yung mga tao, nagugulat sila kasi hindi nila nakikita yung sarili nila. Anyway, so dito ko na-realize sa work na to yung performance, this specific performance, may kinalaman din siya sa video and the definition of it, which is, kasi nakikita ko sa Google, internet, ang definition niya is, it's all about moving images. So nirealize ko yung performance ko, I used video to record my performance without moving. So may connection siya sa aspetong yun on what video is about. So it's about moving images kasi. So parang nag-counter yung idea ko with the performance without moving.
Yes. I was totally fooled, by the way, when this was shown. I was really nagtataka. I'm like, bakit wala ako dito sa... So you're just used to, especially like, when they're selling TVs, yung mga electronics, then they put the camera there so you can see yourself. So it's just very common, like you're passing there, you see the TV, you see yourself on the TV. Then when I was passing, I'm like, bakit si Kaloy lang yun nandyan? You know, how come I'm not reflected in the camera?
Yes, Great Papaya Maginhawa.
Okay. Okay. Yes, yeah, more, okay, let's go to Martha naman. We'll go back to Kaloy later.
Thank you.
Hi guys, can you see me?
We can hear you.
Okay, hi. I really like watching, seeing what you guys did some time ago. I never got to see those works. So me, today, thanks to Lisa, I don't know if you guys can see me. Can you see me?
At the moment, no. But they're
Okay, 'cause I've been
troubleshooting
going
it
through
right
all
now.
my old hard drives, trying to find my old stuff. Unfortunately, I couldn't find my old things. So, but yeah, which is a bad sign because that's actually my mission for the year, to work on my archive, all my old mini DV tapes. I want them digitalized. And anyways, so unfortunately, I can't show you older things, but I like the conversation that you're starting, Lisa. And I was thinking about myself. I mean, my background, I was lucky enough to experience the dark room, you know, and develop my own 35 millimeter photos. But also I was able to do it with 8 millimeter and 16 millimeter. And I really like the physical aspect, you know, the kind of the process you go through. But unfortunately, when I started to really make my work, it was too expensive to do this anyways. Like the work that Ateneo is showing now, the Gilubong ang akong pusod sa dagat, when I was getting on ships, like it would have been too hard for me to work with old film. But wait, let me see. I'll share my screen.
Yeah, we can see
Because I
you now.
thought, sige, wait. You can see. Okay, wait. I need to. Okay, why does it say? Sorry, huh? Advanced sharing options, I guess. I can just share. We practiced this a while ago. Here you go. Okay. Let me just jump to. One second. Here you go. You'll see that I've been trying to search for my old files. But I'm jumping back to 2015. I thought I'd share this because I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, actually. I need to remove my headphones, I think. Yeah. All right, let's try it. Can you guys see and hear it?
We can see it,
We
but
can
we
see.
can't hear it.
You can hear?
No.
No? It's okay. You're supposed to hear like wind. You guys can't hear anything? All right, that's okay. Just imagine hard wind sounds. But I can hear it though. I need to turn it down. And like I was thinking about, I wanted to mention, I think the reason why I really started to work with installations was because working digitally, especially with video, I missed the physical aspect. So I really started to work in spaces and kind of combine physical and even Arduino and programming, you know? So I kind of have this tug of war going on with nature and the machines and perhaps even the digital. Like this was in 2015. I think it's the first show I did at Silver Lens. And it was after Super Typhoon Haiyan, Yolanda, in 2013. And you'll see here, I was hiding in a bodega with my mom, and I brought my camera, and we were there for 2 days, and I was trying to film. I mean, we were bored, so I was trying to film through the cracks of the building. And then later on, I cut out the shape of this crack that I had filmed. This is the video of it. And I traced this out and created that, let's call it this sculpture that you could see your own reflection in. I don't know if I'm explaining this, but yeah. So there you can see the shape, and it was hanging in the space together with the trees moving. So you could also see the trees reflecting in it. And then the sound, so the trees are reacting to the sound in the space, and the sound that you can hear is the winds, the heavy winds during the storm. Too bad we can't. And then I'm just playing it off Vimeo. And this is actually another work that was really because of Ateneo that I continued with after Gilabong. I'd gotten the 4 residencies, and I was able to travel to 4 places: Singapore, Liverpool, New York, and Melbourne, or close to, actually not like 7 hours from Melbourne. And I was able to continue getting on ships, because that's really what I was doing for a while, since 2010. I'll show you some of it, but it's a shame you can't really hear it though. But it's basically the sound of ships. I'll show it. Wait, I'll show a little bit more. So what I was really interested in was looking at how light. Sorry, my dogs. How light and video, video projection is really light, and how the light element could be used in different ways. So I projected the video of the sea that I'd been filming on my many journeys on ships. I projected it on water, and I created movements in the water. So with this, the light and water working together, you create these reflections and the movements that we were creating in the pool were also reacting to sound. And so yeah, I think my obsession with really not just kind of working with video, but really working with space and the audience, you know, and the really looking at the physical aspect of it. That's really something that I also enjoy, you know. So I don't think I purely only work with video. So anyways, this is the pool. I made many versions of this. Kind of was obsessed with this work, so it took like 4 years to. This I think was the second version at Ateneo, and we used car wipers to create the movements in the water. I was able to show this recently, beginning of this year again. But yeah, so these are the light reflections that are created. I don't know if anyone wants to ask anything or.
I mean, it has a very tactile quality to it.
Yeah, it's too bad you can't hear the sound because the sound is really part of the installation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I'd share these works when you were talking about like this, the kind of the analog and the digital, and for me, it kind of, I want to show you one more work. It's Equation of State, and I wanted to show you part of the installation where we created. Sorry, this is the video part of the installation. Here there's sound also, but basically I have a pool of water in one of the spaces and I have a mangrove hanging.
Mm-hmm.
And so the mangrove is being pulled in and out of the water. And so it's creating the movement in the water. As it's being pulled up by this machine, it hits the water here, you'll see it. And so the water reflection here is not a projector of video. We actually work with different lenses and lights, bright lights, to kind of create the ideal, how do you say, light hitting this pool in the room. I mean, of course, there's layers to this work. The reason why I worked with the mangroves was to kind of, just like in the other work that you saw from 2015, was also kind of talking about this relationship that we have with nature and how we kind of control it, you know? It's almost absurd to be pulling a plant up and down and making it do something that it's not supposed to be doing. And it's just the same as, you know, we're saying that mangroves are protecting our coastlines, but then it's more complicated than that because you know, we need a certain type of mangrove. Most of the time they plant backhouse like the one that I'm using. So, you know, there's like there's a positive aspect, but there's also a part of it that, you know, I want people to think about and question, but then also just kind of also move away from the, how do you say, the practical conversations on climate change, but also just look at the light, you know, and look at reflection. I mean, I wish it's not the best documentation. It's really hard to document, but yeah, that's it.
Martha, can I ask, have you worked with video on cathode ray tube televisions, or it's always been like projections?
Good question.
Projections, flat screens. I mean, would you say
Early
that's
on, I
more...
started working with projections. When I had my end exam from fine arts, I did multiple projections on paper. So I've always been interested in video projection and it being a source of light. So when I was projecting then, I was projecting on A4 papers and I had welded frames hanging from the ceiling for it. So that you could still see the kind of the texture in the paper. So I think very early on when I could, get a hold of projectors, I started. So that was 2005. I started working with projectors. Before that, I was really interested in video because I was excited about everyone having a TV in their house. And so that kind of access to people I was excited about. But now that we have the internet, um, I'm not that. I've also realized that I really want the space because I don't know, maybe it's because of the process that I take to create the work. It's not
Yeah.
instant. So my work maybe doesn't fit on the instant smartphone size, you know, or the. I also want to create the space and the intimacy with the audience. So yeah, sorry, I'm talking about other stuff now.
And yeah, I mean, and it's about you know, the audience also encountering, I guess, like your moving images at a certain scale as well.
Yeah.
I think.
I think with I don't know if you remember Lisa with the Gilobong work, it was really about having the people that I was audience and see how they would react on that. And so that's what I
Yes.
liked about projection also because I could play with the size and see how people would be in front of their own images, you know?
And to reach like a large community of people as
Yeah,
well.
because you can share, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, if you're small, like you said earlier, I think if it's small, image is more intimate.
Yes.
And when you go larger, you can look at the same time with more people. So that's something I'm very interested in and I play with a lot. But because I mainly do a lot of work with the people that I film, the large format also really works for me.
Okay, right. Thank you, Martha.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we'll return to you with more questions later. And now we go to Mark Salvatus.
Hello.
Those are my works. Okay.
Yeah, Mark, take it away.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for staying. The last one. I'm recalling some of my childhood memory when was my first experience or encounter with video or cinema film. It's actually in a cinema house in my hometown. And the first thing I always see is the pictures of the cinema because it's in the lobby. It's like you cannot really. They're showing the what's will be the movie. It will be shown, no. So it's the photographs. It's not yet the digital or the preview of the cinema. So I got interested on that, like imagining from an object, the photograph as the object, and imagining since I cannot enter the cinema yet because we were elementary school children. So interested on how this object as a paper and transpose into a film or like a projection. And when I was also, I think, same age as Yoji, my first encounter with video was I was an actor, like a child.
Child actor?
But it's a very local. I don't know if you're familiar with Salvi Casino. He's a like a entertainment vice president of ABS, and he did a video about Lukban, and they gathered different locals to be a actor or actresses, and I'm one of them, like a boy. So, and I saw how the people having the camera, like I don't know if it's VHS or I don't know, or Betamax, I don't know. But it's like this maybe inform me like this is how this kind of maybe making a video and analog. But of course I didn't see the video. I don't know what happened.
You never saw it,
No.
the end result.
No.
Ah.
So that's interesting. And then when I went to Manila to study, I studied advertising. So it's different, I think, from the studio art, where the production is art. But in advertising, you make advertising or advertisements like commercials, and these are very short. And I remember early mid 90s up to 2000. It's also the I know the MTV, when MTV is in cable, and I think I'm more influenced by that rather than like video art or cinema. It's the instant short videos, like the music videos. And when I got the chance to get a camera, it's because advertising also we do a lot of things like fashion, photography, graphic design, so everything. So I think my first process of making video is like that, like making a short presentation, and it's not about concept, but it's more on the idea of quick presentation, like a message, and because advertising is about messages. So my first encounter with this photography is the object. It's not the file, but the print. So I thought of this kind of like moving from object and then turning it into video. So most of my works started with an object, and it can be maybe transfer into this file as a moving image or something. So I think we can just randomly show some images. So this is the first work that I shown in an installation context, using animation and installation in Cubicle Gallery.
Cubicle?
Yeah. Did you saw this? Or I don't know.
I might have, yes.
So
yeah.
this is the only photo that or documentation. I don't even have the files. of
So
the
you
vid-
don't even have the
animation.
the animation.
No, so
It's
in CD kasi. So and
Baka nandyan pa.
I don't
sa
know.
bodega.
Maybe we can check. But this is also during that time. Also was an interesting time, like mid 2000, where in the artist run spaces in Manila is starting to showcase video works. So yeah, and we can maybe move to another. And also, when we talk about video, I also thought of editing. So since I work a lot with found objects, but also found footages, and these are footages that are randomly sourced in different sources. So YouTube. So these are like editing for me is practice, not only the shooting as a process of making the work, because editing you crop, cut, and this can create a new form. And this is connected to the analog concept of collage, like splicing, overlapping, and that was also a training in advertising, is editing. So
So they trained you in video editing.
editing, yeah,
Or film editing.
more
or
on
both?
video editing.
Video na.
Yeah.
Okay. So you edit it yourself. You don't outsource.
Before, yes, I did everything from scratch, even the capturing of the videos.
Okay.
Because during that time also I was a street artist, so having this Instamatic or like a digital camera helps me in documenting the everyday, like going to the street, like taking your self also, because in the context of video art, it's usually recording yourself is the first parang manifestation of you want who you want to record. Is it the others or yourself? No, it's now in the context of digital and internet, you really record yourself. But before in history, you record yourself as performance, as like in the 70s, 60s, 70s, like documenting the performances of the artist. So I guess this informs me on how I worked before is alone before. But throughout the years creating more complex projects, I had different help with different people. So.
Like a production team.
Yeah, especially if there's budget na. So,
Okay.
but
That's the important
important.
aspect.
Yeah, like for example, this I recorded just a still video of different what's that, overpass, and then it's like in loop. So I call it mountains. Like when when the mountains are not yet very high, like the one in Kamuning. So. So this is one example also of documentation of performance, because that's what's interesting with the Digicam. It's handy, so you can just record with yourself, but also it's it's like a more documentation type of video. So I always think of the videos also as installation. So
Okay.
it depends, but I think objects helps in creating an aura or the space itself. So there's a dual feeling or experience when you encounter this exhibition or artwork. Yeah, like this, it's also a spontaneous documentation of the city. It's also in this late 2010, like 2005 up to mid 2015, that the Manila was gradually changing, and then to document the city is a form of maybe navigating the future of how Manila will turn out. So
Is
Yeah.
the quality of the video important to you, or it's more the portability, like the quality of the video image?
I think quality is okay because I use different kinds of equipment. Like it can be phone, it can be a digital camera, it can be like a high-end video camera. But it's I like also the idea of video as raw rather than the high-end Hollywood film, because that's
Okay.
how you can distinguish film from video. I don't know, but the video is more natural, I think. It's as you mentioned about the TV, it can create more intimacy, and video can also create this intimacy because maybe in the context of film, it's shared, no? It's in the cinema. But in video, you can walk past by it. You don't share it with others. But yeah, if two people see it together, you don't know the other person, you can share. But when you pass by it, it depends. So I like video because you have your own time also. You don't wait for it to end like the film. And the video is more open, that it doesn't say stay and watch till the end. But yeah, it depends on the audience. So the video has this aspect of freedom in terms of maybe capturing the audience. So some people will just pass by, like in Venice, like 5 seconds they just pass by. So, but some stay. Di ba, sir? Di ba?
5 seconds.
Yes, some because they maybe they're busy watching other. Ano. So I like this aspect of video that, but you can come back, di ba? So,
Okay.
and I like this aspect also of loop because you don't have this idea of like end, the beginning and end. So,
Sorry, I'm just trying to find your Venice work.
mhm. Yeah, so this is, so you mentioned, you asked me about the quality of the video.
Yeah.
This is a 4K video,
Oh,
but
wow.
it's mixed with different footages that I have before. So you can see the blurred images in the, and I also use archival images and footages. So
Okay.
it's not 100% shot like in one scene. I consider it again as a collage because some of the images or videos are from my archives, like from my other projects, because I see my whole project as a community. So they talk to each other in a way.
Okay.
So so it's kind of like sampling. Yeah, sampling is also
Okay.
an aspect of editing. Like
So the quality of the image varies.
varies.
And you like that, right? I mean, this is what I'm sort of guessing
Yeah,
from what you're saying.
I like it because some are like steady, like with this tripod and everything, like with the gimbal and everything, very nice. But suddenly it's like very raw. So I like this aspect of movement because it's about movement, and it's not cinematic also because there's no sitting. I mean, the concept also is you just pass by for this pavilion. You just glide through the space. So if they want to see the whole video, they can. But for me, the aspect of just what you call this, like isang lang, iglap lang, parang ganon. So I'm interested on that because I want to reflect also the concept of this malikmata, because something that you don't consider na it's there, but maybe it's not there. So yeah. So sorry. So one video or film that I use for this is from Abu de la Cruz. Is a filmmaker from Lukban. He made Misterio sa Tuwa. So I used his still shots as part of the video. So to create different layers of maybe the now and then, because he shot his film in 1983, I think, in Banahaw. So creating this aspect of then and now, but still the same location.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if there's more, but
Is there more ba? Ayan, there's some detail.
yeah, something.
Ay, okay. Okay, thanks for still staying on. I know that we're a bit over time, but I still wanna ask some questions. Actually, I must be stopped because I can probably, this is like part of my thesis topic. So I can go on, mag-sleepover na tayo dito, pwede. Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes. Oh, ayan. Yeah. Yeah, so one of the questions that I have, because it's the, like the digital age, right? So, I mean, and I think some of you also answered it already. Have you ever thought of making a video work which isn't, to be presented in a physical art space, which is online, on YouTube, on Vimeo, and I get the sense from all four, it's a no. So maybe you want to kind Kaya explain because it's available, right? This platform is available. It's free, So maybe to kind of talk about that.
During the pandemic, FYI, I'm a teacher. So during pandemic, we are required to make an introduction video for each subject. Ang ginawa kong video since pandemic as a remote online, ang ginawa kong introduction video is I recorded myself, buong mukha lang. And then instead of speaking, "Hi, my name is Kaloy. Welcome to art appreciation or painting one or whatever." Subtitle lang. Wala, hindi ako nagsalita. So, pero subtitle lang lahat. So, it's about a minute and 30 seconds video. So, ang dulo, binigyan ko sila ng assignment. Parang, as your assignment, parang something like, ilang beses ako pumikit. Parang ganun. So, all throughout the video. So, yeah. So, that's, yes. So, tingnan nyo na lang siguro sa IG ko kung finalo nyo ako. Nandun siya. So, to
May
answer
prize
your...
ba? May prize ba kung correct?
So, to answer your question, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, IG is okay. TikTok. Wala akong TikTok.
Okay, wala akong...
Yun.
To me, I think it depends. If the idea is integral to the medium, why not? No? But I think as a painter, I still prefer the physical object. But I'm open to using, the different kinds of venues. Yun na nga, it depends kung nagtutugma yung idea sa medium.
So not yet, but possible.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Mark naman.
I have some 1-minute videos online, like in Vimeo. So it haven't been shown anywhere, but it's like a study. It's like a sample. So it's like Yoji's videos. Yeah. So, but I don't show it like in a bigger platform like TikTok or social media, but YouTube maybe because it can earn, diba? So
But you consider them studies, not like finished works.
study, but I put like Mark Salvatus 2012. So it's kind of like
Okay, so kind of
finished.
finished.
Yeah.
Oh.
So 1 minute work. So mga ganun.
And do you get views or
It's
yeah,
public. Yeah. The ones that are not public, you need the password are the longer videos. But the short ones, yeah, it's public. But few people view.
Do you allow comments?
Yeah.
Okay. May nagko-comment ba or
Nagla-like. I
okay.
like at least.
At least nagla-like. And then how about Martha?
Hey. Sorry, I'm naked. Maybe as an example, in 2022, we organized the first Fisher Folks Day of Bantayan, and that was like getting Fisher Folks leaders together. So it was an action, really. So the online platform was really, really useful for this event. So I think that was really, when it comes to actions, those are the times that I guess I use the medium. but maybe I can. I don't know. Is there time to share it a little bit? Is that okay?
Is it like you're gonna share a?
Okay. Yeah. Never mind. Yeah. Yeah. That's all. It depends on the work, really, but mostly I do the installations.
Okay. Okay. So my other question is, and I think some of you have sort of mentioned, some of your earlier works. So where do you store your video? Is it on the cloud, in your computer, on an external hard drive? Because the idea, like with a digital file, right, you can make multiple copies, and one may think, oh, it's safer than painting, because painting unique, but then this one, you can make multiple, so you can save multiple copies everywhere. Although, parang from what I find from my research, that actually it's the one pa nga that's most in danger because formats change. And apart from having like a certain format, like .avi or whatever, there's also codec. And then if your video player doesn't have that codec, you cannot play it. Cannot play it. Super ang hirap, actually. And then sometimes you have it stored with other things. It could be also personal things. Maybe you have your family pictures there or no. It's not labeled. It's also not labeled. So actually, it's the one that, is the most in danger of disappearing. So when you think about it, 20, 30 years from now, I mean, we don't even know. The format will, very likely, it will change again, right? And then if these things have not been converted in time because people who can convert these things are also disappearing, well, the kind of history that is going to be written is going to be skewed because it's no longer, these materials are no longer available. So I wanted to ask then about, since you've all been doing video for some time, where are you storing it? Do you have backup? Has everything already been transferred to the most updated files? It's important to think about in this digital age.
Yeah, that's my problem also kasi mga video works ko, nakasave siya sa .avi or .mov
Yeah.
na minsan hindi na siya nababasa sa ibang player or format. So, the best thing to do here is to save kung ano man siyang latest na technology, or I should say yung saving format niya. Or mas maganda kung damihan, AVI, MOV, kung ano pa man yan.
Multiple different formats.
Right.
I'm really bad with these things, I lose my files. I don't know where I put them. I store them in what do you call this? The external drives, and I lose my external drive. So I don't know. So as I've said earlier, I just got somebody to store my files for me. But I was thinking a while ago that if you lose your files, these files are basically memory. So this means that how you view the world will be new, So I'm not really bothered by it. Diba? I mean, but I keep them actually as much as I can. But I don't want to be bothered by all these technicalities. I don't want it to control my life. It's like, if I lose them, then probably I view the world in a new way. It's not encumbered by memory. I don't know if I make any sense.
Okay, pero for like mga historians, art historians, syempre that's of course they would like to know the memory, the history.
Yeah, of course. I consider the storage and everything, but I realize that there are things that are not in your control. So you have to give way to you know, what you can do, you know.
So the person by you hired to help you, so he has the copy, but you
Not
you
all,
also have
not
the
all.
copy.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So he has some.
Sorry.
He has some of it. And
Yeah,
then
at
you have
least
some
the
of it.
last 3 years.
Ah, okay. And
Yeah.
it's stored in.
But sometimes when somebody asks for my old files,
Yeah.
I pass it on to him to process. You know, to like I have files in VHS format, so I give it to him. Please, you know, like transfer this in digital.
So siya na
Format.
bahala.
Siya nang bahala. Oo. Kasi I really
Okay.
cannot do it. You know, I'm
Yes.
I'm not just a technician. And I'm so bad with these things. Really.
But everything na ba has been digitized? It's been the ones
not
from the
all.
analog. Hindi pa. Okay.
As I've said, I'm bad with it.
Okay. May homework ka na
Yeah.
to do after this.
Yeah, because I think I'm more interested in doing your work.
Right, yeah.
Once the experience is done, then I'm, you know, these files to me are just recordings. You know, of course I want to keep them, but you know, I'm more interested in creating new work.
Right.
You know, than going back to it, and unless I need the file for creating
So that's
the
the
new
only
work.
time that you look for the old work or convert it.
Sorry.
That's the only time that you look
Yes,
for the
yes.
old work or
like
convert it.
you-
If there's
you-
some need.
If you text me like, "Oh, Jerry, do you have this file?" Yes, of course. I'll check my computer. Like a lot of
Okay.
them are stored in my computer actually, but I don't have them organized like, you know, in a good way.
Okay. And you, Mark.
I kept most of my files in my hard drive. But I think what's interesting is like when you share your files to others is nice. Like video screenings, like artist video screenings, they can keep the file for you maybe if they like what Lost Frames are doing. They and other like 98B, they have also this program with videos. So artists share the video for screening, and in the end, they will have their files. Your files are maybe kept by them. So if a researcher wants to look for other files, like if you cannot contact the artist, they have that. So I'm thinking like it can be like that. It can be in multiple location or research centers or collectives who have the files. So as long as they keep it also, like they save it. So, yeah. So some of my works or videos are kept with friends. So
Okay.
so yeah.
And you keep track naman who
Not
has
really.
it.
So, but I think if I've shown it here, so maybe he has that.
Maybe okay. Well, it reminds me then of what a time-based media conservator, Andreas Weiser, also said, is that, one copy is no copy. So if we just as it, it might just be lost. So it's really safer to have multiple copies stored in different locations. How about you, Martha?
Hey, yeah, I mean, I think I'm a combination of, I mean, everyone is saying what I'm also kind of looking at, like old mini DV tapes and how to digitalize. But I think also I've started to look at all the work that I've been doing, kind of documenting everything, especially here in Bantayan Island and the changes that have been happening as a kind of like evidence for like proof of changing landscape because of, let's say, climate change, but also like cultural loss. So what I'm working on now with my brother is and my neighbors here is when, because all these years I've also taught people around me to use the video camera as a tool to tell their own story. So we're in the middle of, since the pandemic, a lot of young people here have been documenting their own stories or their ways of farming. And so what we're doing now is seeing how we can make this accessible online, this archive, and how this archive then could become useful. Like what I said, like proof of, a culture being very much alive and complex could also give protection to people. Like fisher folks do not have any ownership of land, which is very problematic in the Philippines if we're more than 7,000 islands. So, I've kind of become obsessed with how can all this documentation, all these years become useful, and how could it be? Maybe it's like the way of working with people and digitizing and documenting. How could it be like a methodology that could be used for others? Like we could even question our indigenous law of saying why are certain people have ancestral domain and why do others not? So that's kind of been really exciting to. I mean, we started fresh from 2021 and been archiving that. And it's my job to go back all the way to the past when I started. And that one is very messy. That's why I couldn't even find my old files to show you guys. But that's really kind of my mission for this year, to work on the older stuff. And we have the new things, and that's going to be open source online. But really the question of how could, let's say, people from a place like Bantayan really be interested in accessing these files, or what could they even do with it? How could it become useful? Like, so for example, a lot of the people I work with now are farmers. How could it be useful? Because it's not just about, preserving disappearing cultures, but like they lost their seed saving culture. Actually, a lot of old people still do it, but the young people don't do it anymore because it's all, they buy seeds all the time from companies. So it's been really exciting to kind of use these documentations really to get a movement going again. Sorry. Yeah.
So are you thinking of using like a free platform like YouTube?
Yeah,
or
I mean the free. It's really the question of what is accessible to everyone. So everybody uses, of course, Facebook, but we also need the storage online. So then we need to somehow combine, let's say, a website, and then link it up to social media, so that, because people do not easily just go to websites here, So we're still in the middle of, if you have digital files like interviews or documentation from before, or photos, how do you make it accessible and useful for anybody? Yeah.
yeah, so I guess that's also the challenge.
Yeah.
In this
Yeah,
day and
sharing.
age.
I like what Mark said, like the sharing aspect, no? Like, so someone else could be a contributor, and someone else could maybe, somebody might just be taking information, but they could also contribute. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I've also been reflecting on these kind of like free, video sharing platforms, which is extremely useful for everyone. But a part of me, maybe it's like, sometimes I just think of doomsday scenarios. If it's just my anxious personality, but I thought like, oh, what if one time YouTube closes? I mean, that's like a whole like world culture that is going to disappear. I mean, okay, maybe at the moment, parang we think, oh, that's impossible. But I don't know. Like, I mean, how many years ago a lot of us were on Multiply? Yeah. Dami, di ba? We uploaded pictures, may video, and then suddenly an announcement came, oh, we're gonna close the site, get everything out by this date. I remember I was like panicking also because, some of them I don't even know where I put, but actually in Multiply, it was quite organized. So, I mean, I know it was quite popular. I wasn't quite sure why it closed. But then, something like YouTube or, Vimeo, I mean, disaster yon if that closes, right? I mean, we're going to lose like a lot of things. So, I mean, I actually do have more questions, but, maybe we can give the audience, we can give the audience, maybe they want to ask one or two questions. Anyone want to ask? Oh, there.
Hello. Okay. Hi. Thank you for the talk. I'm Corinne. I'm from the Vargas Museum. I really enjoyed everyone's insights and everyone's works upstairs. I do wonder, throughout the duration of your practice, no, have you noticed a difference in reception of your video works? Because right now we're always thinking, I think there's a term now, attention economy, right? I mean, si Kaloy, you mentioned that with your students, you had to do something in Zoom to capture their attention as well. So you feel like you've captured the attention of an audience way more in the past? Or do you feel that there are a lot more interested audiences for your video works today? Thank you.
Hello. That's the thing right now. Tulad nga sinabi ni Mark, parang 5-second attention span lang. Yeah. May kinalaman yung SOCMED for sure. TikTok, IG, Reel, whatever. Kasi parang bibilis. Scroll up na lang eh. 3 seconds, okay na yan. So yeah, may kinalaman in terms of like receiving and viewing the video from before to now.
Maybe more of like engagement. Like, has engagement deepened or has it been a lot less, parang they won't sit and watch it if
The latter.
duration is
The latter.
these days. Oh, I see.
Actually, I want to commend the work that Alicia Chikiamco is doing. Like her work on, on video art in the Philippines. I remember during our time, not too many people were interested in video, but over time, it's getting attention and interest, and in fact, some collectors, I think, are buying video works now. Before, practically no collectors would buy a video, because something, it's not like a painting that, they can pass on to the next generation, or it is some practical value. But video, it's, as Lisa says, when the technology changes, what do you do with it? So it's kind of like something like that. But yeah, now I think it has gained a lot of traction in terms of attention and value. I guess it will still improve, in the next couple of years. It depends on where it will go, from digital to I don't know what, holograms, and let's see.
I think in terms of audience, you captured them if they take a photo and upload it in their social media. So that's one maybe aspect of you create a connection, even though they didn't maybe create a long engagement or long-term engagement, but I think they got interested to share. So yeah, that's the aspect of exhibition also. So not only just video. And yeah, I think so. Thank you.
Martha?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can only speak for my work, but it might also be the type of work. But I remember years ago, like, people were just not interested in the kind of work that I was doing, and I feel like now people actually do watch it. So I'm not sure if this has to do with the timing of the themes that I work with right now, that these are things that people are interested in, or that perhaps you know, like I've done installations in public spaces, like in Holland when I was a student. I did like in a train station, so it was playing 24 hours. You could also watch the video from the window. Also from like a small, it's like the smallest tower, like 3 by 3 meter gallery that was, it was just two sides glass, and the audience could look at it 24 hours. And there was really no attention at all. But I feel like now, you know, with these kinds of installations, people do take more time. So I'm not sure. You know, I mean, it's true. There's a lot of young people that if it's more than 30 seconds, then they can't deal with it. But I think that's why the obsession with space, you know, that you really try to create spaces where people stick on. And if it's, I don't know, I mean, even now Ateneo is asking if we can send like a 1 minute thing. That's really hard for me to make. Like that takes so much work for me to make a 1 minute. That's the hardest thing you can ask me. Anyways.
It's a 1 minute excerpt, is it? 1 minute excerpt?
Yeah, like a 1 minute, and then
Like
you
a
speak about
teaser.
work. Like, a lot of people do that now, and people, when people ask it, I have like a little mini panic attack, because it's really difficult for me to work that way, because that's not how I work at all. Like sometimes my work can be many hours long, you know, without dialogue.
Right. Okay, any other questions from the audience? Yeah. No, no.
Hello.
There.
Doon pala. Sorry. Hello. Maraming salamat sa pag-share. Ako si Julius, artist din. So, hello. So, ayun. I noticed that a lot of the works are like journalistic and are reflective of what the artists are experiencing. It always incorporates artists, other mediums like installations, performance, paintings. So ang question ko ngayon, na in a time where a lot of people can easily create videos, I remember kahapon yung magtataho nagbo-vlog. So ano yung point of us creating video as creatives? So what's the point?
Well, I guess this relates. This relates to another question that I had for them is, why video, right? Because I mean, there are many mediums available for the visual artist, and why persist in making or using the medium? And you all have persisted, and I mean, as Jerry has pointed out, I mean, even though there are some collectors who started collecting video. I mean, kokonti lang yan, right? And even institutions who collect video, at least in the Philippines, I don't think since this acquisition. Hello. Okay. Yes. Back to programming. Yeah. So yun, like why? Because it's not really something that is, financially sustainable. In fact, you spend a lot also, especially if you want something to be more polished also, if you're also outsourcing certain things like editing or even storage. I mean, if you're also putting things in the cloud, that's all expense, right? It's expense that you may not recuperate. So why do you still persist in using the medium? What attracts you?
It's holding time.
In my case, I treat video like a collage material. I see how I can integrate it to other things, like I see how I can I try to investigate how I can incorporate it in paintings, in an installation, because to me, video or the camera is a ubiquitous object, and in fact, if you think about it, we live on screen, the screen is always in front of us, cell phone, TV, it's and I always thought that, most of our time is lived on screen. That's partly my reason why I did that show, Screening Time. This realization that we actually live inside a screen, that our lives are mediated by this technology. So I think it's in me, it's still a good thing to integrate this in my works.
I treat video as same with photography. Like click the camera, you're creating history, memory, or something na titignan mo in the future na like memory lane, parang ganun. So that's why I'm still creating video works. Kahit upuan lang siya, somehow may nagbibigay siya ng memory sa akin.
I guess going back to the question, I think I don't want to discriminate like someone using the video as magtataho and then artists making a video. What's the difference? But I think it's the intention. It's what's something you go beyond. Now, what's your intention as an artist? You create this kind of things in your own maybe what you call this your experiences with the world. So I think the other people can use because the medium itself is very accessible, but the intention is maybe entertainment and to get more likes. I don't know, but I think making artwork is very different. It's beyond what you want to say in this reality. So that's why I guess also video art is something, raw. It's not only maybe journalistic, but you can mix it with imagination. So I think that's why it's being used a lot with to create fantasy also. So I don't know, like now is AI used in exhibition also to create another world. So you're creating, I think that's why TV, film is made. It's to create another world. So I think, video art is creating another world through the artists. So, but other people who have the means to do it have their own world too, to create and to share. And the platform can be like social media. And I guess it depends really on the viewers how to see this distinction. So I think exhibition, writing, and also articulating, screening can help. So I think that's.
Yeah, and Martha, you said something about holding time, it being a time-based medium, is it?
I mean, the reason why I was really obsessed with it early on was because, the power of holding time. Like I have a lot of documentation of, let's say, my grandmother in the kitchen or my mom and just making the camera disappear so that they would just continue life as they would normally. And those are really the things that I've maybe never even shared for my artworks, but that's most of the documentation I have is of kind of the kind of in-between moments where there's nothing happening, of people I know or places that I'm familiar with, And that was really the start for me. And now I'm also thinking, yeah, what is the video now? Why I'm still doing it? I think because it can still be intimate, it can still be personal. I mean, of course, we can influence it how we want, but yeah, there's I think even if you can, there's the power of filming something maybe very general, but still you could make someone feel safe, or you could give someone an intimate feeling. You can control that, and it's just so powerful. And I don't know if I could really, do anything else. Yeah, but I mean, everyone else already said, and I completely agree. With what video could be. Why we still do it.
Yeah, and I think as a testament to it being such a powerful medium of contemporary art, I think video is actually, quite dominant in major exhibitions of contemporary art, like the Venice Biennale. I think for nearly all of the Philippine representation to Venice, nearly all of the exhibitions included video, actually. I think maybe except one. Yeah, so it's actually quite a dominant medium in contemporary art today. So I think maybe this is all. Maybe, okay, I think I would just have a last slide. Sorry, just last. For just to wrap things up, it's just something that I found interesting. It's from Mowell Fund, also from the Movement magazine. Yeah, because I was thinking that with I think the title of the talk was on video art in the digital age. But actually, video art, I feel like in the past 10 years, we've kind of started using moving image, actually, rather than video art, because digital video has really collapsed the distinctions between film and video. So moving image has just become the more kind of general, safe term. And even though digital video is ubiquitous, there is, of course, pockets of resistance, and those who believe in making films on film. We also have like a movement here, younger generation, who are doing that and developing unique ways to do this, even without a local processing center and very limited venues and opportunities to screen them. There's still enthusiasts for analog video and cathode ray tube televisions. I'm not too sure about shooting with the analog video. Parang mahirap ata, to get, I think, the servicing that's required. But definitely there are those that are fanatics about cathode ray tube televisions. I mean, there are some Facebook groups mga online, and they're talking about collecting, and they still use it because they want, parang, if they're watching like a video from that time, they want to use the correct media that was, like that. So parang their truest are playing video games that were developed, and parang iba kasi yung color, right? So there are some enthusiasts, so they're still keeping these kind of trends alive. And so, I mean, whichever pathway, and I mean, this is sort of the reflection I had, because it was sort of thinking about film versus parang video, so parang galit sila. But here, parang, ayan, happy. Or just thinking, shadow play na lang. Basta moving image, ayan, happy. We're all like in this happy family kind of thing. So whichever pathway artists take, analog or digital, I think there's still persist, in working with the moving image, like the artists that we have today. Yeah. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for letting us join online.
Thank you. Hi, Martha. Thank you for staying on. Thank you for joining us. I hope you get to see the exhibit before
I will.
ends,
I'll
not
pass
late
by, Ms. Woods.
October. Okay. So thank you, Kaloy, Jerry, Mark, and of course Lisa for I think it's really a major preparation. And thank you for sharing with us your study. I'm sure that's part of the work that you've been doing for your dissertation. Okay, so and thank you for everyone who stayed on. And I think even if it's a late and long session, it's an interested group. And yeah, we hope to be able to show the other works in that group of projects that you help Ateneo Art Gallery to acquire. I think among the 9, the one that we haven't exhibited or shown again is Tad Ermitaños. That I need your help with to how to go about it, and of course discuss it with him. So thank you, and we're having an opening on Sunday, the collection show, mostly the works that Fernando Sobel donated. That's part of our Sobel Centennial celebration. It will be open to the public by Monday. So I hope you visit again. Thank you.